in the site root, the root of the site, because we're going to have actually many files there. So I'm going to call it devices. And remember, if we send the ID, we get one device with its type. If we don't send the ID, that means we get all the devices. Okay?
Okay.
Any questions at this point?
No.
Yep.
And I believe we also added a device, right? So what we're going to do now is work with the readings. Now remember, in IoT, in Internet of Things, you have sensors in different parts of the building, or depending what you're working on. And those sensors might be taking readings from temperature or humidity or other things. So those sensors are going to be sending that information to a server. Now we're not going to do that, but we are going to have a table with the readings from each particular device. So we'll be able to see, we're going to do a simulator. So we're going to send the readings through software, but we do have to have the capability of receiving the information and storing it in the database and showing it. Okay? So we're going to add another table to the, to the database. Let me just open my SQL Workbench. There's something wrong here. Hold on, let's, I have a little problem with my SQL Workbench. Only saw last.
Por menos.
No, es que también depende del...
Por menos.
You cannot use a basic formula for. So we're going to add this table. We're going to insert one reading. Now, as you can see here, let me just make this a little bigger. Not this part. As you can see, is the date time is the default is now. So if I don't send the reading, if I don't send the date time, it's going to be automatically the current date time of the server. The same thing here. ID is a auto increment field, so you don't have to insert it. It just creates a new one, 1, 2, 3, 4 sequential number. Okay, and we have a foreign key. So add this table, please. Let me know when you're ready.
I got it.
Okay.
Got it, Professor.
Okay, so everything regarding the reading is going to belong to actually to the device. So the reading class is going to be very, very simple. Let me just close these out. So I'm going to cheat a little bit here. So we're going to create the reading class. As you can see, it's very, very simple. Nothing, no connection to database, nothing like that, because everything regarding the readings is actually going to be done in the device class. And also, as you can see, there are no setters. That means that the values are read-only because the ID is auto-generated, the date time is selected by the, is stored by the database, and value is we're supposed to be reading it from the device, and we're not supposed to change it. Okay, so that's why there are only getters. I'm sorry, there should only be setters, not, yeah, I'm sorry. There are only getters. I can read them, but I cannot set them. Okay? So do this class is very, very simple.
I got it, Professor.
Okay.
I got it.
Okay. Okay, so now that we have the readings, we're gonna go back to the device class. And the first thing we need to do is use that file. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is add a reading. So we're gonna kind of copy the add method and change it to add, actually this should be new device. Add read. And we're gonna call it add reading. And we're going to receive only the value. The other three things, like the ID that's auto-generated, the ID of the device, well, is this device. So I'll get the ID from this device. And the date time is going to be generated by the system. So the only thing I need is the value. I'm going to change this. Actually, well, you guys copied it from here. But it's actually different. Oh. So, well, not different, just you need parameters here and a parameter here. So we need to send two values, one for the ID of the device and the other one for the value. So we don't need this. So we're gonna send two values. The first one is a string, the second one is a double. So we're gonna send the ID of this device and we're gonna send the value. And I think that should be it. So again, just so you understand it, this value that I received is this one here, and that one goes here, which is a double, and this one goes here. The second one, let me just change colors here. This one is the device ID. That's why we have D. We have this, and that one is a string, and that one goes here, and that one goes here. Understand?
Okay, so the SSD is with the ID to the device.
The
ID
S
device. Okay.
means that the field is string.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if I can write this. 'Cause I'm not good at drawing with the mouse. So this is a string,
String ID.
and the other one's a double.
Okay.
This one's because it's a value. In the database is numeric. There we go. So you have to specify the types of every parameter. The first parameter is a string, the second parameter is a double. So here you have to specify the values, the data types.
Okay.
Everybody got it?
Oh, yes.
Got it.
I got it.
Okay, so right now, let me just go to the database and let me just clear all this. I have, let me just execute this again. Because since I did this with the other group, I need to, let me just make sure that I have the correct database. There you go. Since I did this with the other group, I need to empty them. So if I see here, select from readings, you're going to see just one reading, the one that is inserted here. As you can see, the ID is 1, and the date time is exactly the date and time right now. Okay? So I'm going to try to add another reading. So I'm going to go to, I'm going to create another file here in the in index to add I'm going to copy this one because it's going to be very similar. To add the reading. So I'm gonna name it and call it readings. So we're gonna use a device also, because remember the device uses reading, so we're all good. And that's where the method is. So we're not gonna get any gets here. The only thing we're gonna do is post it. So we're gonna do the post method, and we need to check that we receive the ID of the device, device ID, and the value. That is it. I'm gonna put them together because there's only 2 of them. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to create this device. Make sure it exists. So this one's different. So again, I'm gonna use a try, oh, where am I? I'm gonna use a try, catch. Should not have. Actually, kinda need all of this. Well, most of it. So I'm gonna try to get the device with the device ID. If for some reason I cannot create the device, I'm not gonna say this, I'm just gonna say invalid device ID. So the user will know. I'm not gonna display anything here. And I'm gonna try to add the reading. So I'm gonna say add reading. And I'm gonna send as a parameter the, so this is a post, not a get. I'm gonna try to send the value. If I can send it, then I'm gonna say reading added successfully, could not add reading. I think when we added the object, I'm gonna copy the device. We didn't change this part. Okay, so first we need to check the method, which is a post. We're adding I was thinking, we did add a device yesterday, right? And a device type. We had a wind and stuff like that, so yeah, I think we did. So we're gonna make sure that we get the method is a post. And that we receive the device ID and the value. If not, if we don't receive those two values, then we're going to tell the user missing parameters, okay, status 999. If we did receive them, the first thing I'm gonna do is make sure that this device ID exists. So I'm gonna try to create a new device. If I cannot create a new device, because the device ID doesn't exist, then I'm gonna show this error message, 998, invalid device ID. If the device ID does exist, then I'm gonna try to add the reading. If I'm able to, I'm gonna display reading added successful. If for some reason I'm not able to add the device, I need to change this, 997. Then I'm gonna show that I can't add the device. Okay?
Okay.
Copy that part. Got it?
Not yet.
Okay, so we're gonna test it. First, I'm gonna test that that I'm not sending the correct parameters. So first, remember, the method has to be a post. Well, I'm gonna do a new one here. I'm gonna do a post. So first, it's a post, because that's the request method that we're answering to, post. And then the API should be readings. Readings. So if I send it right now, it's going to return an error message of 999, missing parameters, because I'm not sending the parameters. Okay, so I need to send the parameters. And if you can remember, the parameters go in body, form data. Okay, and we're gonna send device ID, and we're gonna send value. So device ID, but I'm gonna send an incorrect device ID, ABC, that one doesn't exist. And I'm gonna send value. So let's say that the temperature right now is 22.7 degrees, okay, Celsius. Okay, so now I should get this error message, invalid device ID. Should get this one, invalid device ID, because the ID of the device doesn't exist. Okay, invalid device ID. And now I'm going to send a valid ID. So I'm going to send OT, outside temperature. And read it added successfully. If we go to the database, because right now we're not reading the devices, the readings yet. And if I execute this one, I should get the new reading, which is this one, at 10:39. Okay? So make sure it works. Let me know when you have it. Test it without the parameters, test it with the parameters, test it with an invalid ID, a valid ID, make sure everything works. Okay?
Okay, Professor.
Let me know when it's done. Okay, did it work?
Yes, Professor, it's working.
It works?
Yes.
How about the rest of you? Okay, let me know if it works for everybody. Okay, everybody good?
Yes.
Any
Yes.
questions? No questions? Okay. So now, right now, the way we have it is for devices, which is, we don't need this one anymore. I'm gonna close out a few of them. Don't save. There we go. So for, put this one all the way. So for devices, if I send the ID, what happened to my send button? There it is. So if I send the ID, I receive nothing. Forgot. Let me change it. Devices. Let's see what these others are. That one I need. That one is the same one. This one is for the other group. We have this. Okay. So right now, if I send one device only, I send the ID, I get one device. I want to see its readings here. I want to see an array here that says readings, okay, and get all the readings from that array. So I'm going to create a method. Well, I already have it here. A method that's going to return all the readings. Well, actually, I erased it. So we're going to get the list of countries, devices. Yep. So I'm going to copy this one, and I'm going to create a list, a method that returns a list of all the devices, but all the readings. But it belongs to the device, so it is not static. It belongs to the actual object. So we're going to call get readings. And let's see, the query should be as follows. We want the ID. Remember the reading class? We want the ID, the date time value. So we want the ID, date time, and the value from readings. Just get this. Where ID device equals, in this case, OT. We're going to change that to our parameter. And we're going to order by date, time, descending. So we want the last one first. Okay? So last one first. So this is our query. I'm gonna copy it. And that's the one we're gonna use here. Except that we're gonna change this to a parameter. And remember, since it's a parameter, you have to bind the parameters. String, and those readings belong to this object. And I only need the ID. The date time and the value. Remember, if the query returns 3 fields, then you need 3 variables to receive each field. If the query requires 1 parameter, then you have to send 1 parameter. Okay? And in here, new reading. And we'll send the ID. We're going to send date time. And we'll send value. Again, these methods are very repetitive. You just change queries and parameters and stuff like that, but they're very repetitive. That's the whole point, because a lot of the applications are just querying data from different places, okay? Like for a school, we're querying classes, schedules, grades, all of that stuff. Just query, query, query. Okay, so they're basically the same, just change the query, change the parameters. Got it?
Yes, Professor.
Okay, so we're gonna have 2 methods. I didn't erase it. So we're gonna have 2 methods to JSON. You can copy this one and paste it here at JSON full, and we're just gonna add the readings. And remember, we already have this class JSON that has a method list2JSON that we already did, and we're accessing the method getReadings, and we're adding them to the method. Got it?
Yes.
Okay, so we're just gonna change here in devices. Save this. In devices, in the get part, not in the post. The get, wait a minute. We didn't actually add a device, right? Because it looks like we added device type. So this isn't, we need to fix this part. So anyway, we'll fix this later. So here when we get one, instead of showing the JSON, just change it to JSON full. And JSON full. Postman is not working. That's good. Hey, wake up. He doesn't want to wake up. Okay, Postman went away. Let me open it again. What happened to Postman? Starting engines. Give me a second while Postman opens. There you go. Almost there. Okay, so we're gonna get a device. Come on. There you go. Didn't I actually add the? Actually, it's reading class. Okay, so now we get the device, with its readings. Okay, we have 2 readings. Now I'm going to get the other device, for instance, the what is outside humidity, right? Oh, come on. So outside humidity doesn't have any readings. Okay, so I'm going to send one. So I'm going to go here in readings and post to the outside humidity. And I'm going to say that the humidity outside is, I don't know, 17.5%. In this case, it's percent, it's not degrees. So I'm going to send it, reading added successfully. I'm going to go here and send the request again and see that I have a reading. Again, if I don't send the ID, I'm just receiving a list of the devices. But if I want one particular ID, one particular device, then I am going to get the readings. Okay, let me send another one. This one here. So the humidity, let's say, is dropped during the day, so it's 17.4 now. And I go here, and I send it again, and I have 2 readings. Now the way we're setting it up is last one first, okay? Last one first. Got it?
Got it.
Okay, so let's review everything we've done. We actually need 3 files here at the beginning, but first, just to make sure, let's start with device types. Device types, we created the constructor, the JSON, we added a device type, get all to JSON. So this one here, I'm going to copy it and paste it. Then we're going to call it device types. Okay, so we're going to have 3 device types, devices, device types, and the readings. Device types, device type. Let's make sure that we have everything correct. Type. This one doesn't have it to JSON full. JSON, and this one is device. Device type, and here I think the post was for device type correctly. Device type. Okay. So this one's good. So let's see. Again, we're gonna test all 3 actions. That's what we call them. I'll put them here. Just gonna copy the URL. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna show the categories, API, collections. Okay. So we're gonna create a collection, and I'm gonna say, we're going to call it Smart Home 3D. So that's going to be you. Okay. Okay. So this one here is going to be for device types. types.php. And I'm going to save it. So I'm going to save it in the collection Smart Home 3D. And the name is going to be device types. This is how we should always do it, because I don't want to have a whole bunch of tabs here and keep adding to it and stuff like that. So I have device types, I have it there. If I close it, I can open it again. Okay, so get devices, get device types, that's correct. We have 3 of them. If I send one ID, temperature, that works. And if I try to add, I have to send the ID, which we already have humidity, temperature, and wind. So let's say light. Hold on. There's this ID. Light. Then name, light, an icon. Let's look for an icon. Hold on, I have it somewhere around here. Okay, so wake up. Come on. My computer knows it's Friday, so it wants to go sleep. Don't worry, it'll open. It won't open. Computer went bye-bye. Come on, awesome, you can do it. There we go. Okay, so light bulb or light. We use this one, light bulb. So that's going to be our icon, light bulb. Okay, so icon, light bulb. So we add it successfully. We go back to get and no parameter. So there is light. So that one works. Okay, make sure it works for you guys. Now the second one is going to be, so I'm going to put this one right at the beginning. The second one is for devices. So I'm going to also save it. Save as. Devices. And save in the same collection. Save. So I have 2 of them. And remember, if I send one, I get the reading. If I don't send the ID, I'm good. The only thing that's not correct is this part, because this is for device type. So I have to actually send the ID, the name, the IP address. So let's say patio light. Patio light. So there's going to be a light sensor in the patio. IP address, 192.168.0.4. Okay, I'm not going to send it yet. Actually, I need ID type. Okay, type ID. I'm not going to send it yet because I haven't done the backend correctly. So device type works. Now devices, this one, the post, we actually didn't do it correctly. We left the other one. So we have to receive the ID, the name, the IP address, and the type ID. So we have to do that. But it has to be a little bit like this one, like this. So I'm going to copy it, the try catch, and so first we need to check the device type. So this one's going to be DT device type. It's going to be type ID. Same thing. This one's. If this is incorrect, then I'm going to send invalid device type ID. Okay. Then I'm going to take. And this part is the same. Like I said, very, very repetitive. So device added, cannot add device, and so we'll create the empty object, which is a device, set name, set ID, set IP address, and set device, which is going to be DT. I'm sorry, set type, which is going to be the object we created up here. This one here, device type. Oh, let me see. Is that correct? So again, first, if we don't receive the parameters, ID, name, IP address, and type ID, we're going to display missing parameters. If we do receive them, we're going to try to create we're going to see if this device exists, this type ID that exists. If it doesn't exist, then error message 998. And finally, if we can add it, if it does exist, then we're going to try to create a device, set the values, and try to add that device. If we're able to add it, then status 0, everything was added correctly. If not, then because if I gave it the same ID, then I'm not going to be able to add it. So make sure you have this, and we'll test it. Okay, give you 5 minutes.